This special edition wherein we get input from our reporters spread across the country on the issues that are making headlines. World Environment Day is being celebrated today with the theme of Celebrate Biodiversity this year. Mahatma Gandhi had said that Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs but not every man's greed. As we celebrate World Environment Day today, we also need to realize that we need to give our coming generations a healthier and happier environment to have a beautiful life. Added to this, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar launched a brochure today outlining India's priorities for its forthcoming campaign to secure an elected seat at the UN Security Council. Also, a person has been arrested in Kerala elephant death case. Now, these have been the highlights of the day today. We will have reporters joining in on all these top stories. First, let's talk of the World Environment Day today. In a bid to promote awareness about the environmental protection, World Environment Day is celebrated every year on June 5th. The theme for the year 2020, that is this year, is Celebrate Biodiversity. To mark the occasion, Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Prakash Javadekar, today launched Nagar One scheme to create urban forest in 200 corporation cities. Take a look.
On the occasion of World Environment Day, India has launched an ambitious project to create urban forest cover that will act as green lungs in 200 cities across the country. In a virtual celebration ceremony, the Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Prakash Javadekar, launched the Nagar One or the Urban Forest Scheme with 200 corporations and cities across India. Speaking on the occasion, the minister urged people to actively participate in the scheme and increase the tree cover in their areas. He said there is a need to increase the forest cover in urban areas to create and enhance their lung capacities. The minister also laid emphasis on the need of biodiversity conservation and stressed upon the importance of developing urban forests in the city.
We have forest in rural areas, but not much forest in urban areas. And therefore, we have introduced the scheme of urban forest. And we have decided to launch our Nagar One program, urban forest program, in 200 corporation cities of India. We started in Pune in 2015, and that is the model for improving the forest, urban forest in 200 cities. ये जन आंदोलन होगा और इसलिए सबको साथ आकर काम करने का मैं अपील करता हूँ.
Speaking on the occasion, the Minister of State for Environment, Babul Supriyo, emphasized on tree plantation and soil moisture conservation works as a core strategy for biodiversity conservation in the country. He emphasized that everyone has to work collectively to address the problem of soil degradation and reduce water flow in the river basins.
We all grew up in our childhood getting warnings from our mothers when we did something wrong. I think the nature today, under the pandemic and whatever we are going through in the world, what we are fighting together, is a nature's call, is a planet, mother planet, letting us know that we all need to be more careful and the efforts need to be more concerted to ensure that we take care of this planet in the manner that it should be.
A brochure depicting people's participation in urban forestation was also launched on the occasion. The minister also planted a sapling to mark the occasion. The theme for the year 2020 is Celebrate Biodiversity. Biodiversity is vital for survival of all the life forms on this planet and a key to provide various ecological services. Biodiversity conservation has traditionally been considered confined to remote forest areas, but with increasing urbanization, a need has arisen to safeguard and save biodiversity in the urban areas as well. Urban forest is the best way to bridge this gap. With Bureau Inputs, Tapas Bhattacharya's report, DD News, Delhi.
Extending greetings, President Ramnath Kovind tweeted, and I quote him, "The day reminds us to appreciate interconnectedness of all living beings. Our ancient wisdom taught us to protect biodiversity and conserve environment. We remain committed to join hands with other nations to ensure a greener planet for posterity." Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu extended his greetings. He said, and I quote him, "Let there be a new beginning on this World Environment Day. Together, we can secure the well-being of the people and the planet." In a tweet, Prime Minister Modi said, and I quote him, "We reiterate our pledge to preserve our planet's rich biodiversity. Let us collectively do whatever possible to ensure the flora and fauna with whom we share the earth thrive. May we leave an even better planet for the coming generations." And Prime Minister Narendra Modi also shared a video on World Environment Day.
लॉकडाउन के दौरान पिछले कुछ हफ्तों में जीवन की रफ्तार थोड़ी धीमी जरूर हुई है, लेकिन इससे हमें अपने आसपास प्रकृति की समृद्ध विविधता को, जैव विविधता को करीब से देखने का अवसर भी मिला है। आज कितने ही ऐसे पक्षी जो प्रदूषण और शोर शराबे में ओझल हो गए थे, सालों बाद उनकी आवाज को लोग अपने घरों में सुन रहे हैं। अनेक जगहों से जानवरों के उन्मुक्त विचरण की खबरें भी आ रही हैं। मेरी तरह आपने भी सोशल मीडिया में जरूर इन बातों को देखा होगा, पढ़ा होगा। बहुत लोग कह रहे हैं, लिख रहे हैं, तस्वीरें साझा कर रहे हैं कि वो अपने घर से दूर दूर पहाड़ियां देख पा रहे हैं, दूर दूर जलती हुई रोशनी देख रहे हैं। इन तस्वीरों को देखकर कई लोगों के मन में ये संकल्प उठा होगा, क्या हम उन दृश्यों को ऐसे ही बना रख सकते हैं? इन तस्वीरों ने लोगों को प्रकृति के लिए कुछ करने की प्रेरणा भी दी है। नदियां सदा स्वच्छ रहें, पशु पक्षियों को भी खुलकर जीने का हक मिले, आसमान भी साफ सुथरा हो। इसके लिए हम प्रकृति के साथ तालमेल बिठाकर जीवन जीने की प्रेरणा ले सकते हैं।
And Tapas Bhattacharya is joining us to talk more about it. Tapas, we all know how important the Mother Earth is for us, yet we get careless and fiddle with our environment. When we talk of the World Environment Day, we celebrate it every year, but then I would want you to tell us, what does this day actually hold for us, given the circumstances, given the environment, given the atmosphere we're living in? Added to that, Celebrate Biodiversity is this year's theme. Put all this together, talk more about it, Tapas.
Yes, Preeti, and let me just start with the saying, when you started your line, you said that there's a difference between need and greed.
Yes, I quoted Mahatma Gandhi.
Yes, and that is something, that's the word, that's the quote that one should keep in mind as of now, in this, especially in this lockdown, in the times of this pandemic. Because remember, we understand that yes, the population has increased, world population has increased. It has put up a lot of pressure on planet Earth, on Mother Earth. But end of the day, there is that much that you can take from the environment. You have to take care of it, because end of the day, this is the only planet you can live with. And if you do not, if you keep on extracting, be always greedy, end of the day, it is going to come back to you. And this is what is currently happening. We have seen it, the classic example in the time of this pandemic, when the lockdown was happening all around the world. We saw how nature reclaimed its own space, and that is the whole idea. You have to give it to the nature. You have to care for the nature, and this was the theme of this World Environment Day on 2020. You have to be true to your nature. You have to care for your nature, and the biodiversity that we are talking about. This is very important for a country like India. As of now, out of the 35 biodiversity hotspots available in the world, 4 are in the country. So one has to be absolutely careful about how you want to go about it. You can talk about the fact that it's the time for nature. You have to take India has to take care of its environment in such a manner that you have 8% of world diversity, biodiversity, and despite having the constraints of, like, you have 2.5% of the world's land mass. That's the only land mass you have. So 2.5%. of world landmass you have, yet you have to take care of the 16% of human beings as well as the cattle population.
Yes.
And keeping all these things in mind, you have to be careful about the fact that you do not want to overexert the nature, and that is the whole idea behind celebrating the World Environment Day. That the more we look forward to it, the more we take care of this and we care for the biodiversity. That's the only way we can save it. And the classic example was the one which where in Pune, in the one of the places, a barren land basically was turned into a green forest, and that's the whole idea, that all
Yes.
these barren lands which can't be used are can once again be put into use. And this is the reason why this particular barren land is right now. We saw when my minister was talking about, he spoke about the fact that it has now become a biodiversity forest, and it has right now 23 plant species, 49 bird species, 15 butterfly species, 10 reptile and 3 mammal species. So this has changed the whole dynamics. So if we can create this kind of barren land, turn this barren land into vegetation and biodiversity park, forest, it will be a huge boon for the country. Now again, the second and the most important part that we talk about was when in this year's Environment Day, the minister talked about urban forest. Now,
Yes.
Urban forest, is a concept that in Western culture, this is quite a novelty that they have come up with. But in India, this has not really picked up, and that is the main important part. There are 200 such urban forests have been earmarked in major cities which are currently struggling. Remember, in Delhi, we have seen whole year there's a problem with the water, there's a problem with the atmospheric issues, the air quality is very
Yes.
poor. So we need to create this kind of urban forest, which is going to be what you call.
All right, I think we've lost connection there with Tapas. We'll try getting back to him again, but then again, the most important point here is that any initiative, any measure introduced by the government would only be successful if common people like you and me do our bit in saving the environment before time runs out. Let's talk of other news now. In a major breakthrough in Kerala elephant death case, the Forest Department has arrested one suspect in the case. 2 more suspects are being questioned in the elephant death case. The elephant had died after she was fed a pineapple filled with firecrackers by some villagers. Ajay Joy is joining us from Thiruvananthapuram to get us more on that. Ajay, we want you to spell out the details for us. We tell our viewers that one suspect, in fact, has been arrested in the elephant death case in Kerala. Let us know more details.
There has been a momentful day for the Forest Department here in Kerala, especially on Environment Day. They made huge headways into this investigation, I must say. Already they had deployed 3 separate teams to investigate this crime after it has garnered headlines across the world. So quite eventful day, I must say. First, in the morning itself, they got strong leads that about one of the suspects, and later he was arrested. And he is a rubber tapping laborer in the estate at Ambalappara, Palakkad district, which is adjoining to the forest area. And another revelation has happened in his confession to the investigation team. So what he has revealed as per the process is the estate owner and his son is equally culpable in this crime. And 3 of them together, they placed the explosive laden trap on mate tolls actually. So in their plantation. And the primary, what we have understood from the sources is that they have been engaged in boar hunting. for quite some time. So the purpose of this laying the trap was that, and elephant somehow got into the trap, and it is as per the confession. Let me reiterate: it's as per the confession and as per the sources that they could see the elephant also after this incident, and with the help of other people, they drove the elephant back into the forest. So these are the information that could be gathered from the official sources so far. But let me reiterate that this is yet to be officially stated by anyone. The charge sheets are yet to be filed. The other two accused are to be arrested, and the investigation team is going on in that direction right now.
All right, the charge sheet is to be filed, and two more suspects are being questioned and they are yet to be arrested. Thank you so much, Ajay, for joining us. And the Forest Department has arrested one suspect in the elephant death case in Kerala. In other news, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar launched a brochure today outlining India's priorities for its forthcoming campaign to secure an elected seat on the UN Security Council at the election stated for June 17th. India's priorities for its forthcoming campaign are based on transparency, credibility, accountability and effectiveness to secure an elected seat at the UNSC. Dr. Jaishankar emphasized India's long-standing role as a voice of moderation, an advocate of dialogue and a proponent of international law. Speaking about the brochure, he said that India advocates dialogue, consultation and fairness in addressing global issues. He also highlighted India's approach to the new orientation for a multilateral reformed system.
I am releasing a brief document that sets out our approach to our candidature. It reflects, in Prime Minister's words, our 5S approach to the world: Samman, respect; Samvad, dialogue; Sahyog, cooperation; Shanti, peace, to create conditions for universal Samriddhi, prosperity. Through this approach, we seek to move towards a new orientation for a reformed multilateral system, also known as norms.
And the priorities paper sets out 5 key priorities for India, that is, new opportunities for progress, an effective response to international terrorism, reforming the multilateral system, a comprehensive approach to international peace and security, and promoting technology with a human touch as a driver of solutions. And Amrit Pal is joining us to get us more on this. Amrit, today we saw External Affairs Minister release the brochure on India's candidature at the UNSC. Now, when we talk of the brochure, it talks of the approach which India will have, and it is guided by 5S. Put into perspective for us the importance and the significance of the brochure. When you talk
about this brochure was basically a document which was setting the priorities for India's candidature, though it's a foregone conclusion that India will be a part of the UN Security Council as a non-permanent member, because as you know, there are regional groupings, and from the Asia-Pacific grouping, India's candidature has already been endorsed by countries from this region, including Pakistan and China. They've already endorsed India's candidature, and India is the sole candidate in the fray. So India's election, which will be held on June 17th, is a sort of foregone conclusion. But what the External Affairs Minister today did was he set out a priorities document in which he talked about the approach guided by the 5 S's that you talked about: Samvad, which means respect; Samman, which means respect; Samvad, which means dialogue; Sahyog, which means cooperation; Shanti, of course, peace; and Samriddhi, prosperity. He said that in Prime Minister's words, these 5 S's are our approach to the world, and also did he set out the priorities, which include seeking a responsible and inclusive solutions to world problems, reform multilateralism. Remember, India has been an advocate of a reform of the multilateral institution, including the Bretton Woods institutions, be it the IMF, the World Bank, the WHO, of course the Security Council itself, of which India aspires to be a permanent member of. It's been a votary of the UN body's reforms, and then technology with a human touch, and talking about a comprehensive approach to peace and security, guided by dialogue, mutual respect, commitment, international law. So basically, in the fight and the concrete and result-oriented action at the Security Council for an effective response to international terrorism. We've seen in the past the Security Council take decisions, or at least it's getting vetoed or not even going for a vote, because certain members of the Security Council, like China, have objected on, for example, the Masood Azhar case for a very, very long time. So India set out its priorities for this election, which comes up on the 17th of this month.
All right, Amrit, now India would be elected as a non-permanent member at the UNSC. Explain to us what would be the roles and responsibilities, what kind of a role India will play at this platform. At the same time, we also know India is aiming for the permanent membership.
That's right. India has been a votary of reform of the UN body and the Security Council in particular. It aspires to be a permanent member because it feels that this institution, when it was made in the 1940s, does not reflect the present day realities, and it should be an expanded Security Council of which India has a legitimate right to be a part of. The roles and responsibilities will be the same as of that of any permanent member of the Security Council. As you know, the Security Council's decisions are binding. The UN General Assembly's decisions, they can take up a decision, have a discussion on it, but they are not binding. But the Security Council's decisions are binding on all the members of the UN, of which there are 193 countries and states which are member of it. Now, as you know, the Security Council is primarily a 15-member body, of which 5 are permanent members, which are UK, US, Russia, France, China. They have veto powers. There are 10 non-permanent members who have all the same, who have the same rights as the Security Council, except for 2 things. One, they are not permanent members. They are elected for 2 years, as India is now going for the 21-22 term. That means from January 2021 to January 2023. So the 21-22, 22-23. So the non-permanent members, these 10 members, they are elected for 2 years, and they do not have a veto power. So they do not remain in perpetuity, they do not have a veto power, otherwise their roles and responsibilities are same as that of any other Security Council member. Vicky?
All right, Amrit, thank you for joining in with those inputs. That was our correspondent Amritpal Singh telling us more about the brochure which has been released today by External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, outlining India's priorities for the forthcoming campaign it will have at the UNSC. The elections will be held on 17th of June. And in other news, when we talk of a quick COVID update, the COVID cases which are being reported in the country, so far a total of 1,09,461 patients have been cured of COVID-19, and the recovery rate has improved amongst the patients. Presently, there are 1,10,960 active cases, and all are under active medical supervision. ICMR has further ramped up the testing capacity for detecting the novel coronavirus in the infected persons. The number of government labs has been increased to 498 and private labs has been increased to 212. 1,39,485 samples were tested in the last 24 hours. The total number of samples tested so far is 42,42,718. So that sums up the important developments of the day. Thanks for watching this special edition. Namaskar.